Welcome back to the WODprep podcast. I can't hear myself. Can you guys hear me? I guess I'm not wearing my normal headsets. Yeah. All right. And we're back. Oh yeah, it's not into my mic. Anyways, let me know if you guys can hear me. Good morning. Oh, did Jake just finish? All right, good. Oh man. Good morning, Duke. What a week. Holy shit, I'm tired. That was crazy. What's up, Slater? Good morning. Good morning. All right. Let's start to wake up. You know what I mean? I just rolled out of bed. I slept for like 9 hours, which is really good for me. So this will be a nice, relaxed chat this morning. Kenneth, Slater, real ones. Good morning, Vicky. Vicky, I feel like your name changes every time I see you on YouTube. It's strange. So my headphones aren't in the Rodecaster, so I can't hear myself back. It's really strange. Like you get so used to talking into a mic where you can hear yourself in your headphones, and now you can't, and it's very strange. Thanks, buddy. I wear this one pretty much all. Nice of me to finish. Wait for Jake. That's good. What was Jake doing? Was he on? Was he live? I guess so. All right. Bonjour, Alex. It's very weird. There's 0% I'm doing 10 burpees. 0% chance, Chris. Chris, I saw you left. I couldn't find you again, man. I would have left the chat. You dipped out on me. I didn't see you again after you creeped on my show. It's not a PR pair. Well, this is RX. They sponsor WODprep all the time. That's fair. You're Irish. Oh, man. Dude, yesterday was so long. We got up at like 6. Hey, buddy. We left Columbus at like 5:30 Eastern time. I think that's right. And I got home at 7:30 Central time. So what is that? 15 hours. What's up, bud? You want to say hi to everyone? Hello. You say hi. Here's Dookie. Hi. Man, long drive. Ben drove most of the way, drove me to Atlanta, or we drove to Atlanta together. I made him drive since I had to drive all the way up here by myself. Talked a lot, had a lot of debrief. It was really, really good. And then finished the drive. And of course, down 85, there was a fucking huge wreck, which added like 45 minutes to my drive. They had like a 10-mile section of the road shut down, which was nuts. Hey, I love you. Go lay down. Go on your bed. Thank you. Yeah, it was good. But took forever. I got to put Bennett to sleep, which I was very excited about. I hadn't seen Bennett in a week. And so it was nice to see him. Perrin was like, he's in a mood. I walked in the door and they just finished bath time. And Perrin was like, he's in a mood. And I'm like, all right. And so, like when he sees mom, he's like, no, dad. But, we talked and gave me a hug and I got him dressed for bed. We read some books and he was like, I want mama. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, I want mama. I was like, all right, well, let's just lay here. And then we turned the light off and then he went to sleep on me and it made me happy. All is right with the world. So it was good. Judy. Judy, I can't believe you didn't come by the booth and say hi. I feel terrible that we didn't see each other. I totally forgot that you were there. I'm sorry. It's not acceptable. Oh, man. Unacceptable for me. I'm sorry. Um, I did hear Bryson and Taylor anoint me as co-owner, um, and it's WODprep, in case we didn't know. Just get it right. Um, you met Claire a bunch of times, but you didn't meet me. That's totally unfair. It was a crazy week, right? So usually when we do these, this is the first time we've ever had a booth, right? And so I was only coaching 2 people, and their Pete's pretty much timed every day, but Saturday was pretty okay from a coaching standpoint. Um, I don't even know who that is. Those 2 different people? Um, and but adding the podcast, was really good, and I mean, to be clear, Claire was a fucking godsend. That podcast wouldn't have happened, or it would have happened. It probably would have happened as much more more with Nelson, but it wouldn't have been uh, Chase and Sean wouldn't have come on because she reached out to Chase, um, and it just wouldn't have flowed as well, right? It would have just been me talking to the camera, which I think would have been okay, but it was good to be there, right? Like I haven't done the interview thing in a while, like it's just been me. But I do like doing interviews. The problem is the prep for an interview is much longer, right? I really just like coming on and talking. But when you're with someone else, like you can bounce off of them. Um, and I think the interview thing uh is good. It's fun. I really like it in person. I mean Claire are trying to figure out if we want to do that more or like outside of like in-person competition. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of like indifferent about it. I thought it was the best thing that we could have done there, right? Like getting Carolyn and Jamie and Lito, um, and Fiona, uh, and um, and yeah, who else did we get? Who was on that show? Oh, and Jen Dieter. Oh man, I fanboyed the shit over Jen Dieter. That was awesome. Um, like she was a master's athlete, PT that I've been like like being around but not acquainted with for years. It was awesome. And then Claire just made it great, right? Like she was so prepared. She was like, "All right, when are we doing? When are we doing?" She made me like get my schedule together like every day. Like we wrote it out and we're like, "All right, we can do this block and this block, and we can do this block and that block." And so it was really refreshing to have support in the podcast. And not that Ben or no one supports me. They're just, that's not their thing, right? So they don't know what I need. And I'm not very good at explaining. Like, I can delegate well, but I'm not very good at knowing what I need to delegate in that sense, right? Like, it's like I don't mind delegating, but most of the time, like, I just fly by the seat of my pants for most of this. And so it was great to have Claire ride that wave, but try to create some structure and consistency with it. And that was cool. Yeah, it was really good. It was a lot of fun. Um, good seeing you this week in CG. I don't know who you are, but I'm glad you saw me. I'm glad I saw you. Um, did Taylor call it jail prep? No, it's funny. So I listened to their overview of the games, and I'm convinced more and more that it's truly a bit like all of it, because Taylor walked it back so many times during the overview yesterday, or maybe whatever Sunday night, I guess maybe. I don't even know how they got home that fast. Holy shit, that was crazy. Um, but like we'll talk about some of the things that they talked about here in a little bit. But I think, um, like there are five. Savon was like, "You did a show," and Taylor was funny about it. I just didn't want I just wanted to chat with them, right? Like everyone knows a lot about them, but I don't. I just know the face on camera, and I think the way that they started is really interesting, and I think Taylor's, like inadvertent meteoric rise um is really, really interesting, right? On the back of, whatever it is. Um, so I'm always interested in programs, and how they're doing, and what their goal is, and that kind of stuff, right? So, um, yeah, I mean, I knew they would do a show, and I didn't, we asked them about the event and how their athletes were doing. Of course, thanks, Gus. Gus, you should watch some of them. There's really good interviews in there with athletes if you care. I mean, you probably don't. That's probably not your gist, your shtick. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was good to have them on. I was thankful for them to come on. Um, yeah, overall, it was really good, and they were respectful. And he was like, "What's my profanity language?" And I said, "No racial slurs or butt talk." Um, so, um, so, anyways, thanks, Jake. Oh, this is a good question. Um, hmm. I mean, really, in this point in my life, like, if you weren't serious, this is fine. I'll answer it seriously, anyways. I think where I am in my life and like where our day to day is with our kid is just like a no technology dinner in any capacity, right? Is great. Any type of like true date night, it doesn't even have to be dinner, right? It could be grocery shopping just with no phone, like no, like if we could take the external worries about like what's next or like what we have to do later that night or the next morning, and just like spend spend time together. I think that's like the perfect date night. And then obviously ending with attempting to make a second baby. Um Dude, we're super lame, bro. Like we're super lame. Like we don't drink. I mean, certainly I drink Sunday night, but like that's not what my wife likes to do, right? And so if we can like have just alone time out of the house in any capacity, it's totally enough of a date night for me. It doesn't have to be extravagant. I mean, sure, would it be cool to like, I don't know, like rent a hotel room for the night and just like have a babysitter stay through the night and just like, you know, go at it like fucking college days? Sure. But like that's just not realistic. So realistic is like, you know, if we can get away and we can get introverted for sure, or get inverted. I thought you said be an introvert. Um, if we can get time from Bennett, just me and Perrin in any capacity, that's good enough of a date night for us. Dinner's good. Dinner's fucking expensive, man. We went to dinner. We took my one of my college best friends just got engaged, and we haven't seen them in like a year, and they live like 5 minutes from us, right? We're just, they're busy. He's a like a high up in a big real estate. Um, that's true. Hotels are gross, but if we stay here, that's right. Hotels are gross. I agree, and Perrin agrees too, because that's not her thing. But if we stay here, we're just gonna um um if we stay here, we're just gonna like veg and be lazy. It's like the tone of being in the house is like couch, TV, relax, right? That's the only reason why I said that. It would never happen because Parent hates hotels, which is one of the main reasons why we why we have the camper now. We've like conditioned her to not like hotels even more. Anyways, so yeah, to answer Jake, right? Jake said, I only asked as my wife asked me if I wanted a date night, I told her I'm not gay, so I don't know. Yeah, I think I like quality time. I mean, it's not my number one love language, but I do enjoy it. Um, I think quality time is not sitting on the couch watching TV. Like to me, that's not quality time. I know that is for a lot of couples. So any type of time together outside of the house, I think because I'm here all the time, like I literally am here on average 22 hours a day, right? Like I leave to drop Bennett off or I go work out and I come back here. So for me, it's probably that's probably rooted in why I will do anything outside of the house. Perrin, on the other hand, is almost always gone, right? She leaves 6 a.m., comes back 4 p.m. So she leaves for 10 hours every day. And so I think there's a big difference. Um, and so I think that's the biggest thing, is my love language. So I mean, I think every man's love language is sex, but my love language is for sure words of affirmation and physical touch, like without a doubt. If Perrin looks at me and like scratches the back of my head, gives me a kiss, and says, "You're doing great, bro," I'm fueled and ready to go for like 6 fucking months, and I don't need anything else. Um, um, but like I'm pretty simple. So yeah, it doesn't take, but yeah, I just like a little affirmation from my wife, dude. That's literally all I need. Like, you're doing a great job. You've given us a good life. I don't know. Um, and I'm good to go. So, anyways, now we're getting real deep. Good questions. I love the chat. I miss just chatting. Not that I don't like, I really like where the podcast is going. But I do really enjoy just coming here and talking. Um, Vicky's question. Booing. That's right. I'm a simple guy. Vicky's question. Do you ever get emotionally exhausted having to be on and talking as much as you have to? Well, I don't. I only talk here. That's the thing. I don't converse with people socially very often, right? Like I don't do personal training. I sit in my like my own thoughts a lot. So I'm pretty fueled in that regards often because if I'm not on the podcast, right, and even most of the Zoom meetings I'm on, I'm just an overseer because I'm like, I don't know. I I have like my roles, but I'm a part of a lot of meetings where I'm just sort of a support. And so I don't have to. Um, Thanks, guys. Look, I'm fueled. I'm good to go. It's definitely different from my wife, right? Um, so, so back to Vicky on talking as much as you have to. No, because I really enjoy this, and so I'm naturally an extrovert, like a big one. So it's never a challenge for me to do this. Um, and so it doesn't I don't think it bothers me. It does sometimes. Like if I don't do a show, there's a reason why. And it's usually not because I'm like emotionally exhausted, more mentally exhausted from other stuff, right? In general. So no, I don't think I struggle with this specifically from like communicating, etc. All right. Probably one of the reasons why you love CrossFit. I'm not sure. I don't know what that means. Yeah, exactly. Um, no coaches calls. Yeah, I mean, I guess we do. I certainly have meetings every week where I talk. Um, and I talk with my athletes a lot. But just like from I'm certainly not conversing with people 8 hours a day, right? I will be. I'm taking over Ben's coaching calls in September. while he goes elk hunting. So, um, and and so I have to like start shadowing him for the next week to figure out how to do these. Um, so yeah. Um, Going to Steven, positive affirmation. Oh, for probably the reasons why you love CrossFit. It's certainly the reason why I loved CrossFit. Like it was the main reason in the past of why I fell in love with it so much because it was very rewarding from success and training hard. I definitely am in this point of I don't get to train hard like I mean I don't get to train hard at all. Um, and so it's like less and less and less right now, busy, and then this health shit. So it's certainly a weird situation. I'm trying to find like an expression where I can feel proud of, like in the fitness things that I'm doing. So um, yeah, I mean, getting ready for the games. I mean, God, I worked out at Proven on Monday or yeah, Monday of last week was literally the last thing of fitness that I did. So it's been a weird week. Um, CJ, despite my opposition, um, I haven't trained in a week, so I haven't taken it. I didn't take it at all. I thought I'd do like I don't know, maybe a little bit of running, but we were in the convention center from 7 a.m. till 8 or 9 p.m. every single day, which was a much busier day than I anticipated or lengthwise. So no, I will get back on it now. But I didn't feel anything. I definitely was staying like 2 to 3 pounds heavier, maybe 4 to 5 pounds heavier. Um, That's a good one. Just got a picture of me and three of my coaches looking rough. Um, so I didn't feel any difference, but I am excited to like have a little bit of continuity in my training moving forward. Um, all right, all right, Jake, Sean, mental state's been very different being on a job site versus in the office. Yeah, it's different. Like I was around people all week, and those things don't drain me. Um, Yeah, I mean, I feel drained usually from like if I'm around people a lot, it's because I'm at a competition and then I'm not working throughout the day, which means I'm either working early in the morning or I'm working late at night. And so those things are only create this byproduct of fatigue from lack of sleep, right? Like my sleep was so low throughout the entire week that it is it'll be a couple days to catch up on. But I didn't get sick, which I'm super fucking stoked about. I'm very surprised I didn't get sick. Um Do you ever lay down at night, stare at the sky, and think about the fact that in 500 years, nothing in your life will be remembered? Not even your kids. One, two, three, four, five. Kids. Yep. No, I don't think so. I definitely have uh, like a thought that I could do something that someone would remember for a long time. Um, 500 years is a really long time, right? Um, if we think about the few things that were remembered from 500 years ago, right? We're like limited to explorers and monarchs, right? So those odds are probably null and like pretty much zero. So, um, no, I think the only thing that I lay down at night, now we're getting very, is leaving my family early, and leaving them not prepared and ready to like live a life without me being here. And like those are my focuses. There's a big focus in my life to make sure that all the things are always set in case. Like my health is pretty crazy. And so um my goal is to always make sure that financially they'll be ready to go and that I won't be a burden on them, from beyond like, beyond life. right? Like, I don't leave them in a bad spot or anything like that, and so, like, that's, like, where a lot of my work ethic comes from now is, like, to make sure that everything is set and ready to go and debt is being dwindled down and savings and retirements and life insurance and all those things are, like, very solidified for them, and like, it's pretty morbid, but it's unfortunate. Um, uh It's unfortunate that, those thoughts are there, but it's just true. So, Jake, to answer your question, no, I don't, but that's what I really, lay down and think about a lot, inside of this not speaking to lots of people position. So, um, yeah, um, Sean, do you wanna run a marathon with me in December? Where at? I do wanna run a marathon. I think we're gonna go to Legends. Haven't told my wife yet that I'll be gone maybe for like 3 or 4 days in December. So, we'll see how that goes. Alright. Memphis, St. Jude. What's the weekend? Um, Steven, I was positive you were going to well, I had Nelson. So at one point in the weekend, well, early in the weekend, I needed like a spotter to start yelling at my athletes. Um, to start yelling at my athletes because I couldn't yell. And so we have a good one. Um, oh, I can't. That's my wife's birthday. Um, well, thanks for the invite, buddy. Um, so by God, like workout 4, so the end of the second day, I'd have Nelson with me so he could yell if I needed to yell. Um, and day 3, both the workouts were well, it was a 3 workout day. I couldn't really yell at either of them for those workouts because they were very like strategy bias and not like intensity bias for them. And so it need to yell a lot. And then only Rose went the last day. And I was trying to yell a little bit then. Um, but yeah, voice was gone almost immediately. Judy, do you ever bring the family? So Perrin came to the games with me in 21, 22. And Bennett and Perrin came with me in 23. Perrin was pregnant as fuck in 22. We drove. 21, she came. We coached like 12 people in Madison. 22, we had 4. In 23, we didn't have anyone. And so that's when we drove the camper up and we got to like actually enjoy the games. But we had Bennett. Bennett was only 10 months. So we couldn't do a lot because he was still napping twice a day, but we had the camper on site and that was really, really cool. So I will certainly start bringing the family to events like this once parents stops working, then it will be a thing, right? Like then I 100% have them everywhere. I'll always have them with me. There'd be no reason not to. So if they want to come, they can, and they can always come. It's not a lot of fun, right? Bennett's at this age where, you know, like running around a convention center is like it would just be work for parent, so it's like not very fun for them. Um, uh, because I'm working the entire time. Look, there's not a lot of downtime. Like Steven knows he's here. Um, um, and so yeah, um, I will when it's appropriate for like our schedule. I don't know what this is. Jake, K-pop Demon Hunters. Nope. Dad thing. First weekend in December. Can't go. New room. No, I'm just I all my stuff. I got home at 7:30 last night and all of my equipment besides my screen is still in bags and boxes or in like my carrying case in my backpack. So like even to my extension cord. So I just didn't want to get it all out this morning. So we're just on the computer today. Block Sean. No, I love Sean. Will I be going to the games? So on the family note, I will only go to the games if I'm working. Um, so that's really we're not at a point where we will like get a booth or do the podcast thing at the games unless Paper Street or Herd or I don't know, fucking Nike wants to sponsor the podcast and give us $100,000. Then we'll go wherever the fuck they want us to go. But or WODprep and says, hey, the podcast needs to be here. We're gonna go to Legends in December. We'll for sure do the Masters games. And we're just trying to figure out if like the booth thing is for WODprep, right? I don't know. We'll see how much money we spent and how much money we made as the dust settles. Vera, even though I'm not interested in watching older folks, you should be. You are one. I'm curious how your athletes did. Thank you for asking. I had 2 athletes personally. One finished 6th, one finished 18th, 19th. We had some mess ups, maybe a little over aggression in some workouts. But for the most part, it went well. Rose is the top end of the age group and finished 6th. Everyone above her is like 55 or 56. She'll age up next year. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be back on the podium, maybe on top of the podium. Jen hurt her back day 1. Pretty good. And it really, really crushed her for that 18-minute AMRAP. Couldn't do hang cleans. And it kind of just set the tone for the next couple of days to be a little shitty. But we finished on a really, really high note. And her like 3rd best workout of the weekend was the muscle up workout, and which has perennially been her worst workout in every competition as an athlete her whole career. So it was cool for her to have some success there. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, and so I mean, Fiona certainly does my programming. I don't really claim her as a WODprep athlete, but we write her programming. She does the competitors class at Coda, and so yeah, she was amazing. She was in 2nd all weekend. She has a great head on her shoulders. She's got a good situation to keep training hard. Riley's a great coach. And obviously we're biased that the programming is good for her. I think Riley adjusted well for her there. And yeah, as long as, she's young, so as long as she doesn't burn out, she's going to do great. Christian, what was the experience in the warm-up area? No. So, okay, so to like elaborate on, I was watching this and I felt like I was yelling at the phone. So basically, there was a grate, okay? And then inside of it was like a 4-length rig, maybe 30 feet, and then like maybe like a 40 by 40 piece of matting, right? And all the barbells, kettlebells were there, all right? And then all the machines were on the outside. So when Ryson says you couldn't, or when Taylor says you couldn't warm up with your athletes, he just means you couldn't stand right next to them. That's it. Right. That's the only thing. You were no more than 10 feet away from your athlete at any point in time. But in his defense, being able to go from machine to piece of equipment wasn't possible. And that was annoying as fuck. I hate that. They always do that. And that's not true. They don't always do that. I've seen that before because the machine takes up more room and they want more platform or like floor space to do like move the barbells and stuff. Um, and so, there certainly weren't enough machines back there, and they had more machines in the area. They just didn't have them out. They were all broken too. Um, like the screens wouldn't work, or batteries were dead, or whatever. So it probably wasn't that big of a deal. I never experienced any of the stuff from Top Knot that they were talking about. He never complained about any of my issues or the things that I needed to do. I also They also were experienced. They were the first ones there because of one of their athletes. So I never got to experience any of the ill preparedness of the area like they did. I don't know his name. I don't know his name. He seemed nice, but we never crossed paths. Um, what's up, Jeff? Um, so so it was fine. I didn't have any issues with it. It was better than last year. Last year, it was basically a whole like chunk of a convention center, maybe like 150 feet, and they graded off the entire thing. And like you had to be like all the way behind it. And so if they were warming up on a far platform, they had to run all the way back. Um, and that was annoying. And so they changed it, and they had three separate warm up areas, four technically. And if you were on like the sled floor, you got to stand next to your athlete. So, um, yeah, I mean, there was plenty of warm up space. Um, I never had an issue with equipment. There was definitely only, like a small amount of kettlebells out. Um, yeah, everything ran on time. I mean, like maybe there were no dumbbells back there. That was annoying. I had to bring dumbbells from the booth, or we were working with X Podium. So I brought dumbbells for the booth to warm up um, overhead for rows during the jerk workout. Um, and that was kind of annoying. It was weird that there was no dumbbells, but there were no dumbbells in the competition. So, I mean, that makes sense. They uh, they were. I assume they just didn't get brought from Rogue because there were none in the competition. So it is what it is. I'm not. That's minimal stuff in that capacity. Um, I didn't see any issues there, but again, they were there first thing in the morning, and so the not letting athletes warm up thing is pretty shitty when they go first. Like that's unacceptable. And they experienced that because they had a 70-year-old male competing, and so that's different from my experience because all my athletes are in the middle age groups. Um, so let's see. Oh, on the axle bar thing, it certainly was their fault, but it's solely based on the fact that the clips that were delivered were not the right clips, which is a communication error, but they're taking blame for it, and you just can't do anything about it at that point. Now, as far as would the heaviest weights have fit on there, I don't know the answer to that. I didn't. I don't think I can't do the plate math right now. I don't remember what the weight was for the 35s or 40s, but that sucks. You know. So no, the warm up was fine. It was easy to get to. Um, it was close, right? Like the venue was big, but it wasn't too big. Like we were kind of in the middle, and so the entrance to warm up area was in the middle. Um, yeah, it was good. I thought it was fine. Let's see, Vicky, as a coach, how do you manage swapping what one person needs during an event versus another? Man, you just have to know your athletes, right? Like I'm not there for me, I'm there for them. And I meet them where they are emotionally and mentally. Like with Jen, I can fire her up and tell her to bury these bitches. And with Rose, I usually have to like talk her up, um, and try to improve her like inner self-talk. But for athletes in the past, some athletes like to be really, really, and I helped with Melissa's athlete. Um, and I was like, "Hey, what do you need?" And she was like, "Don't let me cry," because she was so happy to be there. I was like, "All right, I'm not a crier, so it's good," which is a lie. I certainly do cry. But it is, with her, I gathered really quick. I was like, "Hey, here are these things I see." She's like, "I really like that. Let's talk. Let's be really objective about what you're seeing in my clean and jerk right now." Right. And so every time she lifted, we talk about a little bit of technique. And it kind of like got her mind in a better spot of like cueing and correcting or focusing on one or two lift thoughts during the lift instead of like being overwhelmed. So you quickly meet what your athlete needs. Like if you're like looking them in the eye and like really talking to them and not talking at them. Um, I think that's really, really important. And we just know each other so well, right? I've been working with both of them, Rose for almost 8 years and Jen or almost seven, Rose over 7 years now, and Jen for almost three. So we know each other really well, right? Mm, why do I cry? I don't know. Um, once I became a dad, like I, um, I always like get, um, yep. I'm super fucking tired, Jeff. I'm dying. Once I became a dad, we watch a lot of uh, we watch a lot of like we used to watch a lot of like hospital shows and stuff. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. Like it's making me sad that like Bennett's gonna die from a fucking, I don't know, um like I don't know, cancer, whatever. And I'm just like, I'm just not gonna watch this anymore. Um but I don't really cry with my athletes. Um, they do. They all get emotional, and so I don't think I need to get emotional there. I try to keep them pretty regulated. Sean cries once a day. It's good. Seema didn't cry until Mason. Mason made me cry once. He was mean to me. It was rough. He called me a fraud. Oh man. Oh man. I've only had one interaction with Mason. He was having an argument with someone, and I like interjected and I regretted it immediately. He jumped down my throat, and it was funny. He hit me with like a 1-2 punch insult that I couldn't come back from because I didn't even know who he was. And I just didn't have anything to say. And I was like, well, that was interesting. It like got me deep. Bam. It was pretty funny. And we've literally never spoken again. Um, yeah, that was it. Um, yeah, that was it. I don't even know if I like Mason or not. Um, I don't know I literally don't know anything about him except that he hates everyone in all programming and everyone's dumb, and that's it. Yeah. I don't think I do. I don't know. I literally don't know him. Anyways, we're not gonna talk about Mason on the show. I couldn't even tell I couldn't pick him out in a crowd. Um, all right, are we talking about crying, Mason? Um, but overall, I think the weekend was uh, a success. It was a real success for the WODprep booth. Definitely opened our eyes to potentially a avenue of marketing or exposure that maybe we weren't doing before. And so a lot of thoughts, a lot of things to consider, like how the fuck I'm gonna store all this shit in my truck from the booth, which I have. Um, this is a great question, Avera. I'll answer this in a second. Um, so overall, it was really good. It's always good to get the team in person, you know, so that we can brainstorm every day, right? I mean, we were up till 11, 12, 1 every night just talking, business or thoughts on the pulse of the community or where we can go as a company, what we do well, what we do poorly, etc. Avera, elite athletes can do anything thrown in front of them. What percentage of older athletes were in over their heads or were most capable of completing most tests? I disagree that elite athletes can do anything thrown in front of them. A lot of athletes get time capped every workout. So I disagree with that. The top can, but it's all in the same spectrum, right? It's all in the same spectrum of like 100 muscle ups in 10 minutes, right? Or 30 muscle ups in 10 minutes for older athletes. It's just the same spectrum. Um, I don't think anyone is in over their head. They've earned it. They've done the test to get here. And I think every athlete will have this experience within a range of their ability, but I don't think anyone is in over their head. Um, Now, the question might be better stated as, do I think the programming was appropriate for every age group? Probably not. Um, right? It was far too similar for 35 all the way to 70, and that's on Bob and Joe. And probably logistics and stuff of trying to be as simple um, as possible from adjustments age to age to age to age. It's very hard to write a workout and then adjust it 8 times for 8 different age groups. There's no denying that. It's a really difficult thing. It's a difficult thing to find testers in the older age groups that are worth a shit, that aren't actually competing still. And so um, I don't think anyone is in over their head. Oh, oh man. Sorry. I used to we do a chalk talk, like a whiteboard talk every day or every day for the training. And I used to yawn all the time doing it. And I've done really good at not yawning, and I'm doing a shit job today. Jake, you're gay. So, I mean, I don't think it's the sense of them being there, they're in over their head, but I do think some of the programming was a little too hard. It seemed like the weights adjusted for the older males. Yeah. I meant more athletes. Yeah, stopped in their track. It was much lower percentage than I think people realize. I think everyone could do a pistol. And not everyone could do a muscle up, and that's the point. That's why they had chest to bars into muscle ups for the older age groups. And then some of the 55s, I mean, it was probably low, right? And some of the 55s couldn't do muscle ups either, right? And I mean, that's just the byproduct of them not testing it to get there. And I think that's okay. I don't think that's a huge deal. Those things they'll always happen, right? I mean, there's been times at semifinals when female athletes couldn't do muscle ups, right, as individuals. It's a low percentage. It's under 10%. What's happening here? But yeah, I think it's low, 5 to 10%, and it's only in the older age groups. Um, some people for sure really struggle with pistols, and some people struggle with muscle ups, and those are the only two skills throughout the entire weekend. No one couldn't lift the weights. No one couldn't do the run. So, and it's a small percentage. This is true. That's funny. All right. Um, someone asked another question. Someone asked if they know about pistols. Were pistols a good idea? I don't think pistols are a good testing pattern. I just don't. I don't like them. I think the risk reward is really high on the joint itself, especially for the older age groups. A lot of them struggle with knee pain in general and the force requirements on the knee, how much knee translation forward you need, how much ankle range of motion is required, is really, really high. Balance. And I get it, like balance is part of it, but it's just a really high level movement. And there's just a lot of risk for pissing off a meniscus, um, uh, falling over, etc. And I think you can just tear the knee up. I just don't think the stressor on the knee is worth the reward of racing it for 20 reps. Now, with that said, Hiller made his post from when me and Bob were on. I don't think they were as big of a factor as, or at least I don't think, and that statement probably came off different than how I meant it. I don't think it played as big of a role as I anticipated, meaning I thought so many people were going to get no rep, not do it, and just stand there because they couldn't do it at all. And that wasn't the case. There certainly were no reps, and people certainly slowed down, but not more than just like finishing on a harder gymnastics pattern would have been anyways, right? So it wasn't as bad as I thought. I still don't like pistols in competition in any capacity. But they played out better than I anticipated. They were still a impact to the workout, and probably I would say the cleans were bigger. Those were next. Just from like a volume perspective of cleans. But so be it. This is an interesting statement. There are people who do pistols who can't back squat body weight. And there are people who back squat 500 pounds that can't do a pistol with their feet flat on the ground. Right. And so I think the percentage of people that can back squat over body weight that can't pistol is way bigger than the amount of people that can pistol that can't do a body weight back squat. I don't know. That might not be true because like Indian and Chinese culture, I assume they can all pistol just from like a range of motion perspective. So that I have to probably walk that one back just from like an anthropometric thing. But in the training world, I think that's probably very similar. Like both sides of the coin, right? So everyone be happy. All right. Are all women in the space mad at Sean? Highlight of the weekend. We did Rosebud Thorn every night as a team. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically rose is like something good for the day, bud is something you're excited for the future. That kind of like like started in the day, right? Like a bud that's going to grow. And then thorn is something bad. And we did that every night as a team, and then a full for the whole weekend on Sunday night. And that was really cool. We'd never done that like that structured before with that many people. And it was really, really, really productive. Like it really set the tone for the next day, set the tone for me and Ben's driving home, which we had a lot of talks, and a lot of good thought in buds are coming from the weekend. So doing that with the team was probably the best. Um, Jake, yes. Is pistol a circus trick me movement? I don't even know what the fuck you just said. I love you, Sean. I didn't meet Dave. I've met Dave in the past. I was warming up an athlete, and he was only there for like 3 hours. I really wanted to get him on the podcast, and I sent Claire on a mission, but he was already gone. He was only there for the morning of Saturday, maybe. Um, and so, yeah, Thorn every night, Bob. I don't know. I like Bob behind closed doors, like maybe more than everyone likes him forward facing. Um, like they're good dudes. Like they're not terrible people at any means, right? Just because you don't like their programming or how they go about it doesn't mean they're bad people. They fucking work their dick off to put on a great event for masters, and so it's you know Hiller hates. Let's just be clear, okay, Jonathan. Why do we hate Bob? Hiller hates Bob, which means the entire CrossFit community that doesn't know Bob hates Bob. Okay. I don't like Bob's programming all the time. But that doesn't mean I hate him. Hiller does not like Bob. And Bob is openly talked about like Taylor and them of being whatever. What do you call them? Half rate podcasters. And so right, Clock's watching and he knows we're supposed to hate Bob because Hiller hates Bob, which is dumb. Okay. That's a stupid fucking reason to let one man influence so many people. And I don't think that's Hiller's points, but it's how people take it. So never a good thing by any means. Um, but it is, dude, they mean well and they're committed to making this better. And I really think that coming into the next, right, he went after Taylor. Sure. Yeah, but he felt threatened, like he felt attacked by Taylor, um, in general, right? It's just an argument. It's fine. It doesn't mean we have to hate him just because, um, um, they had an argument, right? That was also a year ago, over a year ago. Now it was like July of 24. Um, so, I don't know. Hillary gets pretty heated about Bob and Joe. Um, anyways, so I like Bob. I might not like his programming a lot. I might have a lot of thoughts and input. But he's very receptive to feedback, and that's all you can ask. It's not my competition. I'm just here to compete in it. And him and Joe are very committed at making it better. And so that's all we can ask for because they hold the reins and like they're the people. And so that's just what it's going to be unless CrossFit decides to change it, which I don't see that happening. So I don't like to say we have to accept it, but we have to find a way to support it. And if that's giving him feedback, even if they don't take it, if someone even opens the email and sees a list of 20 things that could have been better and 20 things that were really good. Even if they say they're not going to take it into account, they will, right? So all the feedback is good, even if it seems harsh. I hope they look at it and digest it and continue to improve on it. And based on what they said on the podcast, it sounds like they will. And that's all we can really ask for. Yeah, we can't really ask for much more than that, right? But they're not bad people. They're running the main Masters event for fucking 7 years, right? Decided to put on the CrossFit Games for Masters in under a year, right? I mean, they both had jobs. Bob also just fucking went through chemo and beat cancer. And so, I mean, fuck, and he's here. He didn't miss a beat. Good on him. That's fucking awesome. Huh. So, yeah, that for sure. That's a great point, Seema. So it feels like someone got a B plus and someone decides that's failure. Right. Yeah, and I mean, and you can't just, it's like there's so much more than just the programming, right? Like the venue, A fucking plus, right? The venue is A plus. Okay. Heat times, logistics, A. One heat times didn't start on time. That's amazing, right? 538 heats every day. Okay. Um, you know, there are some other things that like all the clothing seemed to be on point, right? Check in 1,000 times better than last year. And so, programming, I don't know, probably C plus. And that's only because we just sit here and pick apart programming all day long, right? And it's more hindsight. I mean, even leading into the competition, it was probably like a C minus, and it probably ended up a C plus. And it sounds like a lot of the reasoning behind it was maybe lack of testers, lack of minds inside the paywall, or like behind the information wall. But it seems like they're going to address that, and I think that's going to solve a lot of shit. Yeah, Judy, I've heard about the ticket prices. I didn't know anything about them, so they did seem super high. But so this is my what's the word? My defense to ticket prices for this event. Okay, the CrossFit Games relies on ads, sponsors, and vendors to run events. Okay. All right. The Masters Games drops their vendor prices a lot. They have to be subsidized by CrossFit. And so the only way, because they know there's not going to be a lot of people spending money, they can't charge their vendors $25,000. So like to have a booth at the CrossFit Games is like somewhere in the $25,000 range. All right. And that could be like a double booth. Maybe it's like 15. And so, but for the most part, the amount of money a vendor is going to make at a Masters CrossFit event is just way lower than a regular CrossFit event. So what Bob and Joe did is they wanted to get as many people there as they could, and they didn't want to charge a ton. So they worked with every vendor. They were very accommodating. It wasn't expensive for us just to be there because we didn't make any fucking money, right? Like we sold a little bit, but certainly didn't. We certainly didn't make what it cost, even what it cost us to be there. I guess they probably did, barely. Okay. But so the only way that they make money to even run the event, right, is like the athlete cost to be there and ticket sales, unlike the CrossFit Games, where they have a lot of revenue coming in from, maybe HQ or all the other avenues of money, like actually big sponsors, those sponsorships are way bigger. Um, and so they have to pass it on to the consumer or no one would be there. Like if they charge 10 grand for a vendor to be there, right? If they charged, there would be we wouldn't have came. Um, George, there's a lot of reasons why it should go back to everyone in the same thing. That's one of them, right? Obviously. Um, so, I wouldn't even say it. I guess like if we're looking at it, and so, I guess you could say that, but it just doesn't, that's how it is in a lot of places, right? Um, and so they were expensive, but that's the only way that they can make money. Like there's nothing on TV, there's no sponsored ads. Those sponsors were there, and guys, the sponsors just didn't pay a lot of money. And it could say, oh, well, the sponsors should pay more money. There's no one watching, right? There's not that many people there. They're only there to watch their person go, and it's not that big. So I think it's the only way that they're going to be able to. Um, so yeah, like if they would have tried to say they dropped the ticket prices in half and they doubled the vendor prices, there would have been 10, like 8 vendors there. Um, Adaptives games are in 2 weeks in Vegas. So whatever that is, like September 12th or 11th or something, 10th. Um, Aaron, yeah, and we're trying to figure out what that looks like. So Aaron says, this is our last bit, and then I'm gonna get off. I'm hungry. I'm tired. WODprep being at an event is like Coke having a commercial at the Super Bowl. Doesn't sell more Coke, but it's part of the bigger marketing plan. Um, yeah, we've never done it, right? It would be nice to have sold a little more stuff, but we're hoping, and we know it gave us momentum on the podcast, and um, the amount of games athletes that came up to Ben and me throughout the weekend competing actively and said that WODprep taught them a muscle up or a double under or toes to bar was insane. Insane. Like 40 to 50 athletes competing over the weekend were like, we've used your course at some point in our CrossFit career, which in turn is giving us some ideas and motivation about our current products and how to continue to expand the customer lifetime. And so being there was very good for the company, and does create some momentum, and hopefully some buds for the future of like where our company is going. So it was great. Fuck yeah, Renata. Let's go. Um, did CrossFit do booth? Yeah, CrossFit doesn't do booths. Uh, Thanks, George. A lot of good publicity for WODprep in your show. I think so. Yeah. I don't want to talk about this, Jeff. We're gonna dip. All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much. What a good show. 30, 50 people the whole time. That was nice. Good chat. I don't know if Claire will be on Friday, but we'll probably do um right. Good, perfect. We're looking into that, Aaron, about some form of like business to business type products of how we can support your affiliate for pointing us new members. So um yeah. Um Kevin, whoever is selling apparel at the games is not. They probably did. They probably had one there. But no, they weren't selling apparel there, if that's what the question was. Um, I've never blocked you from the chat, Sean, just to be clear, ever. I've never blocked anyone. I blocked one person. Yeah, Nelson just, he has to get his 30 hours a day of sleep so he can train to become a CrossFit Games athlete. So I don't know if he's ever coming back on. Anyways, all right, guys, enjoy the day. We'll see you sometime later in the week. Peace.